Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the seventh episode of Christian Sports Talk podcast. A lot has happened in the sports world since the last time we talked. We're just previewing the playoffs last time. The first round of the playoffs, the wild card is finished, and we got our results, and we had some surprising games in there with the Rams and Panthers. I thought it was gonna be a blowout. I thought the Panthers have no chance, but it came down to the wire, and 49ers shocked the Eagles, which was really surprising. And then I thought everything else the Bears huge comeback, and the curb stomping that was Houston and the Steelers last night. And then we had the news today that Mike Tomlin was stepping down. He got fired, but yeah. So we'll just dive right into the games, I guess. The first game is the Rams 34 and the Panthers 31. Um, Bryce Young really surprised me in this game. He had a really bad start of the game, but then he settled in. I thought the Panthers had really no chance at all, but they hung in there. Stafford had not the best game. He should have thrown two interceptions and ended up being one, but Puka Nacua, made the play at the end of the game that knocked the ball out of the defensive back's hand. Um, you know, I thought I thought the Rams played honestly not very good. Stafford he threw 304 yards, but his rating was 93. Which is good, but I thought McVay honestly they should have ran the ball more. I don't know why they got away from running the ball. They're running the ball good, but they're just so pass happy and they have so much confidence in Stafford and stuff like that. Uh, you know, Puka Nacua is just a really good player. Devontae Adams was really good. It's hard to stop those guys. Their tight ends are good. Their running backs are good too. But yeah, I think that it was good for the Panthers to make it a game for at an entertaining standpoint. The Rams defense, they're just not good. I thought that when they started off the year, I was like, oh my god, this is going to be the best defense in football. Then the Texans and the Broncos will compete to be the best, and the Rams are just their defensive line hasn't been as good as we thought it was. Jared Verse hasn't been as good as we thought he was. Um, the secondary is just terrible. They can't stop anything. They're so bad. You thought that maybe Quentin Lake coming back from injury this week, he would play better and really help them down the stretch. But they're just not good in the back end or anywhere really. They have Landman, he's good, but other than that, they don't really have anybody in that defense that is like a game breaker record that we thought they were going to be like. Kobe Kobe Turner, is that his name? Kobe Turner or Jared Verse or anybody like that, but. Bryce Young really surprised me though. I mean, he brought him back. I mean, he threw for 264 yards. Um, he did have that bad interception, but I don't know why down the stretch they just didn't use Rico Dowell. I don't understand why. I mean, he was their best running back. He was definitely better than Chuba Hubbard. They barely ran the ball. They only ran the ball, I think it was like 20 something times. And when they won the ball, they were running it good, I guess. But 5 carries for Rico Dowell, like, what are we doing? Come on, that doesn't make any sense. And yeah, they had a bad fumble by Trevor Etienne, but I don't know. I mean, their receivers played good though. I thought Coker was. I mean, that guy was great. I mean, he had a great game. McMillan, he's good. Leggett has never clicked, but he's not a bad third receiver. Their tight end's good, Tommy Tremble. But they have weapons. It's just about how good Bryce Young is or not. And I think Bryce Young really, you know, I think he moved from terrible to okay. I guess will be a good bridge quarterback. I mean, I wouldn't really move on from him because what are you going to move on? What are you going to get? Like, who else are you going to get? Quarterbacks just don't move around. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think that um, I was really rooting for the Panthers, to be honest. I've a couple buddies that are Panthers fans and stuff like that, so I was disappointed to see them not win. It would have been a great story if they won. It would have been the shocking game of the week, no matter what happened the rest of the weekend. But I just don't believe in this Rams team as much as I thought I did. They're just not it. They're yeah, they're. I thought they're a Super Bowl contender. I thought look at the middle season, they're like the best team in the league. Stafford will probably win MVP still, and he's a great quarterback. But I just don't think that they're gonna beat the Bears next week. To be honest with you, I think the Bears just have too much magic right now and too much momentum, and I think that's that. I mean, who knows? The weather's gonna be terrible next week, but we'll get into that later in the week when I preview them. But the playoff games next weekend. But yeah, I thought McVay he didn't have his best game at all. I thought that in the first half they're good ish, and then the Panthers came back, started slowing them down, stuff like that. But Stafford this recently just hasn't been as good as he's been. He has these games where he throws a bunch of picks and all this stuff, and I think he's coming back to that. He's been really reckless and has been very smart going down the stretch here. He has 7 interceptions in 7 games, which is not very good at all. But yeah, it was fun to see Bryce Young to make some throws, like that throw to put him up 31. I think it was 31-24, maybe. No, 31. I don't know, 31-24 maybe, or 31-27. I don't remember, to be honest. But that throw he made at Coker in the corner of the end zone was a great throw, and they just had big throw after big throw after big throw, I felt like. And he played good. He played great. He's not going to be good enough to win you games probably in the playoffs, but he's good enough to be a quarterback that wins you the division, that terrible division. So yeah, I think you probably just move on with him and keep him going. Keep. I don't think he's going to sign a big contract or anything like that. You saw he's going to pick up his. They're going to pick up his 5th-year option, which I don't know what else they're supposed to do. When you can't find a quarterback, you can only draft him really, unless you find something like Stafford or something like that, which is super rare. But yeah, well, I guess we'll see what happens with them. But the Rams, I'm not confident in them at all. I don't think they're very good. They're not as good as we thought. Their defense is very bad. Stafford's very reckless right now. They just have so many weapons that they can win these games like this if it's bad teams. But when they play a good team like the Bears, I don't know. The Bears defense is terrible though, so Stafford could have like 500 yards. But the weather's gonna be terrible. But yeah, Puka Nacua right now is just so good. Probably one of the top 5 receivers in the league, top 3 receiver in the league right now. He's just a weapon. He's so good. Drives me crazy every time he touches the ball. He has to celebrate. Everybody has to celebrate all the time. I hate that. But they have great tight ends. They have good running backs. They just have way too many weapons on offense. And Stafford's, he's been reckless lately, but he's still producing. It's not slowing them down. Well, it's slowing them down. They're still winning, I should say. But yeah, that was a shocking game of the weekend. One of the shocking games of the weekend. I thought this weekend was great, but a lot of surprises and stuff like that. But it was really surprising for me to see the Panthers just hang in there so long. I thought they obviously deserved the game. I thought, I always root for the underdog, and I really thought they had no chance. But it was a fun game. It was a cool comeback. Bryce Young played good. I mean, I thought that he was going to play terrible in his first playoff game, but he played good. I mean, props to him. But at the end of the day, they couldn't win. Stafford put the cape on his back, and they pulled that out at the end, which is good for them, good for the Rams. I just don't think they're gonna. Maybe they won't. They won't be the one coming out of the NFC. Maybe they go to the NFC Championship, but they won't be the ones coming out of the NFC. And yeah, the next game I want to talk about was the Bears 31 and the Packers 27. This game was, awesome. The first half, I was like, oh my god, I kind of started to barely pay attention, and I was like, oh my god, Jordan Love's having a great day. Their defense is playing good. Caleb Williams was, I thought, terrible in the first half. I thought he had a terrible game in the first half. And he just wasn't very good in the first half. Ben Johnson was reckless going for it on 4th down. He just kept going for it, and not making it. And I was like, dude, what are you doing? This whole going for it, epidemic is just, I think, so stupid. And it cost them in the first half for sure. Ben Johnson did not coach a good game. But, it didn't matter at the end because Caleb Williams put the team on his back, and their defense got some stops. The Packers only scored 6 points in the second half, and the Bears scored 25 points in the fourth quarter, which is crazy. Um, I was just hoping the Bears would make it kind of a good game. I didn't think they would win, but I was just hoping for a good game. But yeah, I mean, Caleb Williams in the second half was just very, very good. Excuse me. Jordan Love, like they just, I don't know what the Packers are doing. I don't think LaFleur is the really good coach. Everybody today I hear and all the media guys are like, don't fire him, don't fire him. You can't get rid of him. You won't find better and stuff like that. But I think it's time to move on. They won't. They'll probably keep him another couple of years. He's good at developing quarterbacks. You saw that with Love and Willis, but they just couldn't run the ball either. And they didn't try to even run the ball in the second half. I mean, Jordan Love, he played really good. I mean, I don't think how he can play any better. He had 223 yards with 4 touchdowns. And he only got sacked once. I mean, he played great in the second half. I thought the defense was terrible in the second half. I mean, yeah, they're not as good without Parsons and Wyatt, and they have a lot of injuries. They're banged up. You saw Cooper got hurt, but they still should have won that game. Caleb Williams in the first 2.5 quarters was terrible. He was awful. He was air mailing people. He couldn't get close to anybody. I mean, he was having a terrible game, and the Packers just decided not to run the ball. I thought the clock management was terrible in the second half. They were calling timeouts when they didn't need to. In the last possession, with the hurry up off, the player got hurt. You saw the Bears player got hurt, and he got off the field so there's no 10-second runoff, and then the Packers player has to lay on the field for 5 minutes and not get up and get off the field, and that cost them at the end of the game too because the Packers are marching down the field. If they had 10 more seconds, who knows what could have happened? I don't think maybe they don't win, but they were marching down the field in the last possession. They definitely could have maybe had something happen or maybe something easier happen, but I thought that was one of the better games I've seen from Golden on their first round pick on Packers. Romeo Doubs is such a good player. Jaden Reed's a good player. Christian Watson's a good player. They all had touchdowns. They all had good games, but the kicker was just terrible. Missed both his field goals. Missed an extra point. I mean, if you make 2 of those extra points, if you make that extra point and 2 of those field goals, that's a 7-point swing right there, and they probably would have won. Which is crazy. I think a lot of it had to go to the kicker and on the coach. I thought the coach had a terrible, awful game, as in LaFleur. But Caleb Williams was just making big throw after big throw in the second half. They were getting stops on defense. Their defense, they had Edwards go down. They had their left tackle go down, as the Bears' left tackle, and they just hung in there. And Caleb Williams put the team on his back. He said, I can do this myself. Colston Loveland had a great game. I thought they kind of went away from the running game a little bit. They definitely could have run the ball better. But, when they did run it, Swift and Manungai, I thought had pretty good runs, pretty good attempts. Yeah, and Colston Loveland was just, it was like prime Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski out there. He was having a great game. He was very, very good. That guy's going to be a good player for the next 10 years, I feel like. He's a great player. I wasn't really sure about him when they first drafted him and stuff like that, but, he had 8 catches for 137 yards. He was all over the place. He was so good. And, they just have so many weapons on the Bears with DJ Moore, Loveland, Roma Dunze, Burden, Swift, Manungai. Colt Kmet is good. Zacchaeus is, he's a good, 3-4 player. Receiver, but they're just and their offensive line is good. Their offense is so good, but their defense, I'm nervous for the next round, like I said earlier. But the Bears they were just dominant in the fourth quarter. They just needed the stops they got. They got all the that crazy throw Caleb Williams had in fourth down with 6 minutes left, excuse me, and he was really good. I'm not really a biggest Caleb believer right now, still. His 2 interceptions weren't the best, and his body language I think is terrible. I think he's a head case. I think he's like a freak out waiting to happen. But, yeah, he played great on Saturday. I mean, he just put his team on his back, put the cape on, and said, "Hey, I'm going to do this myself, and you guys can come with me or not." But the Packers were just the Packers helped him a lot. I mean, Jordan Love, I don't know how much better he can play. I mean, yes, he makes some of those throws towards the end of the game and keep him going, but the kicker and the coaching was just awful, I thought. And I don't think Matt LaFleur's ever engaged in the game. Whenever you see him on the sideline, he's on the bench. He's never when they're on defense. He's on the bench with Jordan Love, not paying attention to the game and like helping Jordan Love. Blah 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 blah. I mean, he never feels like he's engaged and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm not the biggest Matt LaFleur guy. I don't think he's a very good coach, but he's been developing quarterbacks pretty good, and that place, Soldier Field, was just awesome too. Like the environment seemed awesome. The fans were loud. I mean, it was cold, and it was a great Chicago Green Bay game. At the end of the game with the handshake with LaFleur and Ben Johnson, you could tell they just hate each other so much, and that's fun. Rivalries in sports are just so good, but yeah, I mean, hopefully, I kind of hope maybe LaFleur stays so that rivalry can stay the same. But Micah Parsons already said they want LaFleur back, and they already had some contracts negotiations for LaFleur to stay. So he's definitely going to stay. He's not going to be fired. But I just don't think he's the guy at the end of the day for them. But you never know. Maybe they do fire him. You've seen all these players. You've seen all these coaches that you don't think are going to get been fired, like Tomlin and Harbaugh, which I think were the right decisions. But, yeah, maybe they fire LaFleur and or trade him. Maybe they trade him. I don't know. But, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play next year with all their other injuries off the table with when they get back Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons, stuff like that, because a fully loaded Packers team I think beats this Bears team for sure, but depends on the coaching too. But yeah, I mean, it was a great game. I'm happy for the Bears fans. One of my buddies is a Bears fan. I'm sure he was pumped, and he couldn't believe it that they actually won. It was kind of cool to see Ben Johnson at the beginning of the year. They had someone from the Falcons and someone from the Patriots during the 28-3 game, and they kind of both put their perspective in from what it was like coming back and then what it was like losing that game. And, that was probably very helpful with Grady Jarrett and Joe Tooney telling them their experiences. And them being down 21-3, I think having those guys, be there and help you with, let's finish this out. Let's come back. Let's do this, was a great help and great idea for Ben Johnson to have that idea in his mind. Let's have these guys talk to the team just to give him a little confidence and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Soldier. Oh my God, Soldier Field. It's kind of sad that it's going to be a dome soon, and they're going to go to a new stadium that's inside. I hate the domes. I love the outside games. The weather games. It's awesome. But I was hoping it would snow. It was supposed to snow, and before the game it was snowing, but then. It never ended up snowing, but that was cool. That was fun. It was cool to see the Bears win. In that city of Chicago, have some juice in them. They've kind of been a loser city ever since the Bulls, and the Bears have never really been good. And the Cubs are hit or miss. But yeah, and then later that night they signed Alex Bregman, which is cool. The city was probably pumped from the Bregman signing and the Bears winning and stuff like that. But yeah, congratulations to the Bears. I think they have a good chance to win next week, but it depends on their defense. Their defense is just so hit or miss. But yeah, the next game I want to talk about was the Bills 27, the Jags 24. I mean, everybody thought the Jaguars were winning, but I've been telling you guys since I started this. I think it might just be Josh Allen's year. With Mahomes out and Lamar Jackson out and Burrow out and all these good teams out, the AFC seems really open. I mean, the whole league's wide open, but the AFC seems wide open. It just might be his year to put his team on his back and say, hey, it's my year to win a championship. And it feels like it. I mean, the first half was a dogfight. He just hanging in there. He hurts his knee, it hurts his head, it hurts his hand, and he's just hanging in there. I thought that the Jaguars went away from the run. I don't know why every team this weekend felt like it was going away from the run, but the Jaguars just they were running the ball great, and they just Liam Collins went away from it for some reason. They had Travis 18 was great, and then the running back Tootin was really good. I mean, Tootin was averaging 12.5 yards a carry, and 18 was averaging 6.4 yards a carry, and they just Tootin only had 4 carries, and Travis 18 only had 10, and Trevor Lawrence just did not play good. I mean, 2 interceptions. I don't really see it with him. I don't think he's really that good. He had a great end of the season, but in the playoffs where it really matters, he wasn't there when you needed him. And I thought at the end of the half, the football gods said, "Hey, no way, we're letting this happen," because I thought the refs totally messed that up, and there was no time left on the clock. And then Cam Little misses the field goal. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think that. I just don't think that it's just Josh Allen's year. I mean, he's gonna put on his cape. He had 273 yards. His rating was 108, which is really good. I mean, he 9 different receivers had a reception. Like, this guy is just unbelievable so far this year. I mean, Khalil Shakir is a great player. Brandon Cooks had some great catches down at the end of the game. Their kicker's good, but it's just Josh Allen's year. I don't know what else to say. I mean, we all saw it. He put the team on his back. He's just going to continue and put the team on his back. The one thing I'll say about him is I don't think this running and all this stuff is sustainable. He's gonna get hurt at some point. All of them do. Lamar's gotten hurt. Joe Burrow's gotten hurt. Mahomes has gotten hurt. Every quarterback eventually gets hurt. Brady got hurt. Manning got hurt. Everybody got hurt, and it's just a matter of time until he gets hurt. The way he runs, it's just not sustainable at all. I think it's just not going to work out. But who knows? Maybe it won't happen this year. Maybe it'll happen next year. Maybe it'll happen 5 years down the road. It's coming. But yeah, and that 8 yard, like the 8 yard whatever tush push it was, or 12 yard tush push when they scored that touchdown in the end, that was crazy. I mean, it's just the Bills' year. I think they'll probably win the Super Bowl, just because of Allen. I wouldn't be surprised if they lost, but I think it's just his year. It's his time. He's saying, with the Chiefs being out, his daddy being out, it's time for him to take over. It's time, he smells it, he sees it, he just wants it, and it's their time. And it's crazy he's doing this with that coach too. I don't think that coach is very good. I mean, defensively he's good, but offensively and everything else, I just don't think he's a very good coach. But Trevor Lawrence didn't play his best game. I thought he was like he was way too tight. I mean, he was way too. I feel like he felt the moment. He was definitely felt the pressure. I mean, I thought Liam Cohen, like I said, went away from the run, which I thought wasn't very smart at all. The run game was doing great. It was doing super well, but they just went away from it for some reason. But yeah, Parker Washington's a great player. I mean, he's fun to watch. I love Jacoby Myers. He had that crazy block on that touchdown where he just killed Bosa. That guy's so good. But yeah, the Jaguars, they're a great story. They have a great coach, but it's just not their time. And we saw the report at the end of the game. Give pretty much Liam Cohen a standing ovation for having a good season, which is just such loser talk. It's such Loserville. I mean, of course, that happens in Jacksonville. That would never happen in Boston, New York, Chicago, anywhere like that. Philly. The reporters don't be like, "Hell yeah, let's give Nick Sirianni a round of applause for having a good season." That's just ridiculous. But yeah, Josh Allen was just so good, so incredible. I mean, and he's just so tough. I mean, you saw the way his knee bent on that touchdown, on this first touchdown run, and it just looked bad. But he just gets up, keeps going, fighting through it. You gotta give the man a lot of credit. It's just his time. I mean, sometimes he can play too much hero ball here and there, and it bites them in the butt. But maybe it won't. Maybe it won't in the playoffs, and he's just I'm sick of hearing people write him off, and I'm sick of I'm a Patriots fan, big Patriots fan. All my Patriots friends are like, we want to see the Bills. We want to see the Bills. We want to play the Bills. The Bills are easiest opponent left in the playoffs next round if they beat Denver. Guys, you don't want to play Josh Allen. You don't want to play Josh Allen. Why would you want to play Josh Allen? That just doesn't make any sense to me. It's his year. He's had our number except that one game where Drake May came on the scene. Like, come on, that's just not smart. It's their year. It's their time, and hopefully we can stop them. Hopefully someone can stop them. But because I don't want to see the Bills win. I don't like the Bills. I don't like Josh Allen. But let's call a spade spade. He's the best player in the league, best quarterback in the league right now, and it's just his time, I think. And yeah. Next game I want to talk about was the San Francisco 49ers 23 and the Eagles 19. This game was a great game. I mean, Brock Purdy, he has those 2 terrible interceptions, but he just, keeps going, keeps fighting, keeps giving his team life. And, those when the beginning of the game, when they went up 7-0 and they just drove down the field on them, DeMarcus Robinson having a great game. He hasn't really been that good of a player in his career. He's been all right with the Chiefs and the Rams, but yeah, I mean, they lose Kittle. Their defense is on like their 3rd and 4th strings, and they just keep fighting and keep going and keep winning. That was a great coaching job by Shanahan and a great coaching job by Robert Saleh. McCaffrey has a great game, 6 catches, 66 yards, and also rushes for 48 yards and 15 carries. It's not great, but he's just so important to their team. You see the crazy trick play to go up 17-16 by Jawan Jennings to CMC McCaffrey, and that 29-yard touchdown, which was great. I mean, perfect throw, great catch by McCaffrey. I didn't know that Jawan Jennings was I watched him in college at Tennessee. I like watching Tennessee play. And he was a good receiver, he was kind of crazy. He's a little bit of a head case. But, he was a higher recruit at quarterback. He was a 4-star quarterback and higher recruit than Sam Darnold and Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, which is crazy. You would never think that. But, what's to lose for the 49ers, though? They have all these injuries. They're the underdog. Why not pull the trick play? And it worked. You have guys you never heard of, like Turner having a catch and all these guys. And it's who the heck is this guy? And with Kittle going down, such a big loss. But, they just fought through it. They kept going. And, the 49ers missed an extra point. And sometimes when I see that happen, you see momentum shift a little bit. But, Brock Purdy's just a gamer, man. He's just good. He just I didn't really think he was that good before this year. And you see him get injured, and you're like, oh, here we go again with him getting injured. But he's just having a great year, great season. You see him come back for those 2 interceptions, and he's just a great player. I have a lot of respect for him. I like him a lot. And on the other side, Jalen Hurts, someone who I think is a loser. I think he's a fraud. He played his 2 best games in the Super Bowl ever, which is crazy. But why won't he want? Why does he want to run? He's a great runner. Running quarterbacks are kind of fugazi and fake, but it's a weapon. It helps him. Just run the ball, dude. And he wants to be a pocket quarterback right now, which makes no sense. And a lot of people are blaming the OC, but Jalen Hurts can do it himself too. It just made no sense to me. It just didn't. I don't understand. Jalen Hurts he didn't really have that good of a game either. He's airmailing people, not having a good game. And in the last position too, I still thought they were going to win, but they just got stuffed. And then you see A.J. Brown, him and Sirianni going at it, and Sirianni, he should be fired. He shouldn't have a job. I know I'm team fire everybody, it seems like, but he shouldn't. Come on, guys. You lost to the 49ers when they had nobody on defense. And then Saquon, they have Devontae Smith, Goddard, A.J. Brown, Saquon Barkley. They have all these players, and they can't beat them. Come on. What are we doing? It's just been, and, they're going to fire, they already fired their coordinator, and, if I'm the Eagles, why not maybe try to go after John Harbaugh? He's been a coach there before he was a head coach. He's familiar with Howie Roseman and the owner. He knows people there. He would be a great ad for them. I think he would be better than Sirianni. But, Hurts is just not the guy. He's not the answer. I don't think he's very good. And he's too small, too, also. He can't see over lines, so that's why he likes to go right or left. But then if you don't have it, just run. I don't know why he's trying to be such a passer so much. He was only 20 for 35 at 168 yards. What are we doing? And his rating was 79.2. That's not very good. And so you see A.J. Brown with the 2 drops during the game. as a Patriots fan, I really wanted him, and I think they're going to trade him. But now I don't want him. Like, I just seeing him, the way he performed, the way he acted, the way he dropped the balls when he needed to catch them in a playoff game, like, kind of a loser, dude. You're kind of a loser. I don't like that at all. And Saquon Barkley had a great game. I mean, he's been struggling this year, but then he has a great game for them, 26 for 106, and, it doesn't turn out to matter because they lose to the 49ers. The 49ers just were more disciplined, better coaching, better quarterback play, and that's how they won the game. I mean, the 49ers were, like I said, on defense, were on the third or fourth string, and Philly just led the league in 3-and-out average 3-and-outs. They just can't produce on offense with all those, even though they have all those weapons. And Hurts isn't bad, but maybe he is. I guess maybe he is. But yeah, I mean, and the 49ers, like, they had a terrible punt. They put them in a good field position, which led to a field goal. The 49ers didn't play their best ball. I mean, Purdy played good when they needed him to play good, and they just, the Eagles are just a disaster. They're you knew from the start of the season something was off with them. Something wasn't right. Something's not clicking, and I think, Vic Fangio on the defensive side, I thought he did his job, but Sirianni and the offensive coordinator just couldn't do anything. And what does Sirianni even do besides yell at people and be a prick on the sideline and be someone like annoying on the sideline? And I don't know. I think he's just useless. I think that, they don't know what to do because he did win a Super Bowl from them last year, but I don't know. I just don't think he's the guy there. And they're going to have to get traded AJ Brown. I mean, as a Patriots fan, I don't want him, but they're going to have to trade him. They should have traded him in the middle of the season. Maybe that would have helped him. Get that funk out of the room, because obviously him and Hurts don't like each other. You saw Brandon Graham last year talking about it, then he had to come back out and say, blah, 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 blah. They're good friends, stuff like that. They clearly don't like each other. And there's some reports that maybe Hurts, like, not a lot of people like Hurts. He doesn't seem engaged, doesn't seem like he cares all that much and stuff like that, which I can totally see. But yeah, I mean, that was embarrassing for the Eagles. Embarrassing. You have to win that game. But, and San Francisco, warm weather teams going to cold weather is not really usually successful. And it was so windy, and I'm pretty sure, like, West Coast teams going to East Coast or something, or dome teams or warm weather teams playing in cold weather were like 1-14 or something like that before this game. Like, come on. There's no excuse to lose that game. That's embarrassing from Philly. But, like I said, I'm a big Brock Purdy guy all of a sudden. But he just played great. He just was so resilient after those 2 turnovers. He could have had his head down, could have packed it in, but, they really wanted that game. And they really wanted to win. They won without Kittle. They won without, Warner and Bosa, all these guys on defense, with all these injuries and stuff like that. And they just hung in there and fought, and they won the game. And that was awesome. That was great. That was, for me, that was my favorite game of the weekend. Really. That was my favorite game of the weekend. That was awesome. But, yeah. Let's move on to the next game, which is Patriots 16, Chargers 3. This is, honestly, I'm very happy on the way the Patriots defense played as a Patriots fan. I didn't see this all year on the defense. They played good against crappy teams, but, it's a playoff game. I was really nervous that especially when maybe Herbert had a chip on his shoulder, but, Herbert's just a playoff loser at this point. He's just a playoff loser. He played terrible, and he was getting knocked around too. I mean, but in the first half, they had a lot of pressure. I mean, a lot of time. There was no pressure on the Patriots. The Patriots didn't, defensive line wasn't around him, wasn't giving him a hard time or anything like that. He had more than enough time, but he was just missing wide open guys, airmailing a lot. He did have some bad drops, but, he just didn't play good enough. I'm sorry. He didn't play good enough. Harbaugh, I was listening to this game very closely throughout the week, being a Patriots fan, and Harbaugh, like, if you listen to him, like, something's off with him. Like, he's like Joe Biden-esque overnight. Like, all of a sudden he's like, doesn't feel like he's a feel for the game. And I love Jim Harbaugh. I think he's a great coach, but something happened. Like, I don't know, it's so weird. And you see him on the sideline. He's like, has his mouth open the whole time. Like, seems like he's out to lunch. Seems like the lights are on and no one's home in there. in his head, but I just don't understand. Herbert too, like I'm done. I'm an out. I've been always a Herbert defender a little bit. I really liked him. I always have excuses for him, but 19 for 31, 156 yards or 59 yards. That's terrible. It's awful. It's awful. And he had 2 fumbles. That's awful. You got to protect the ball. I can say the same thing about Drake May. Drake May didn't have a good game either. He just didn't. I feel like the Patriots had a lot of chances in the red zone, and something would happen. He would throw an interception. He would fumble, or they're 3 and out, or a field goal or something like that. But the Patriots had more than enough chances to score, and it just didn't happen. That's why the score was. That's why they scored 16. I feel like they could have blew them out if they capitalized in the red zone, but yeah, I mean, Herbert is just a loser. I mean, the crazy thing is that the storyline coming to the game is, Herbert has all these injuries on the offensive line. He doesn't have much time to throw. There's a lot of pressure and stuff like that getting in there. But in the first half, he had so much pressure, and they couldn't do anything. Especially when they... And I thought Harbaugh going for it when Drake May threw the interception and they gave him the ball at like the 10-yard line or whatever. I thought them going for it there was so stupid. You got to take the points in the playoffs. You don't know when you're going to get points in the playoffs. The defenses are better. The field gets shortened a little bit. And I thought him just going for it and not getting the taking the points there was very crucial for them. I mean, who knows what happened from there. But yeah, I think Herbert is just a playoff loser. He's not good. And I'm done with the excuses with him. Some of these years when they don't, like last year, they had a lot of injuries as well. But then what's the excuse for the Brandon Staley year? You have Brandon Staley as your coach. On third down, he wasn't capitalizing 3 years ago, or whenever it was, 2021, I think it was. But yeah, I mean, I think Herbert's also just soft. He's a choker. I mean, look at his college resume, look at his NFL resume. He's a choker. He doesn't come out for the big moments. And that being said, Drake May didn't play that well. I mean, he went 17 for 29 for 268, but he played a lot better than Herbert, I thought. He was definitely the best quarterback in the game, and he played a lot better than Herbert. And I thought this Chargers rushed the ball actually pretty well as well. I mean, Vidal had a lot of good runs, and they couldn't stop him that much, but the fumbles just killed him. And Herbert at the end of the game was getting killed, don't get me wrong. But for the Patriots, like Milton, like their big guys, like really came in at the end. Milton Williams, Chase on, Barmore. You get the undrafted free agent Ponder had a couple of good plays. Christian Gonzalez was really, really good until he got hurt. I thought Carlton Davis wasn't bad either. I think he's been terrible all year, but he wasn't bad. And having Spillane back was great. But they're just gonna keep getting healthier. We have Tonga come back next week probably. But Gonzalez might not play next week, but we'll see what happens. Talk about that at the end of the week. Yeah, I mean, it was great to see the Patriots win a home game in the playoffs. First time since 2019. It was so good to see. So good to be back. I'm just happy we won the game. But they gotta play better in next week. I mean, we've got the best defensive league coming in to Foxborough. They have to be better. May has to be better. He knows it. He talked about it. Vrabel after the game was clearly very, very upset about the fumbles that Drake May was having. I don't blame him either. So they'll fix that. And Drake May has been coming back after mistakes and fixing them right away. He hasn't been something hasn't really lingered with him for a while. He usually fixes his issues right away. That's why he's been so good. But yeah, if the Patriots defense plays like that, they can be in every game. I mean, that's the best Patriots defense I've seen them play all year. That was awesome. That was great to see. I'm happy it was kind of nice to see the Patriots be able to win multiple different ways this year too. It's usually the offense high flying and always scoring points, but it was nice to see the defense, hold them to 3 points and just win a different way. It's good to see teams win different ways. They're for real, but maybe it's not sustainable because the Chargers did help them a lot by doing stupid stuff, but we'll see what happens next week. And you saw the Chargers today. They fired off their offensive line coach. I mean, what is he supposed to do? They're on like the third stringers, and they fired Greg Roman. Yeah, and they have a lot of work to do. I don't think Herbert's the guy, but he's too good to pass up on him. and everybody's comparing him to Manning now. Manning was 0-3 in his first playoff games, but you know, I don't know. He's just not the guy. He's a loser. I'm sorry. He's a loser. He's a loser. And yeah, the last game I want to talk about was Houston 30 versus Steelers 6. That was a very bad game. I mean, I turned the game off when it was 17-6 after the Houston. I was so tired with our newborn baby, and I've been working like crazy. I was like, I couldn't finish the game because the game was over. But yeah, I mean, the game broke the Steelers. I think the Steelers were already broken before, but Houston's defense just constantly had pressure on Rodgers. They couldn't do anything on third down. They didn't get a third down, I'm pretty sure, or maybe they only got one. But yeah, I mean, they had no chance. The Texans defense was just too good. Stroud almost turned the ball over 4 times though, which is crazy. He had 5 fumbles, 5, and 2 of them were takeaways, and that bad interception. I mean, CJ Stroud didn't play good at all, but they just kept getting important third downs. Christian Kirk had a great game, 8 for 144. You saw Nico Collins got hurt at the beginning of the game, then he came back in, then he got knocked out by the ground, and he just hung in there. They just hung in there, and their running game was great. Marks had 19 for 112, and Nick Chubb had 10 for 48. Marks averaged 5.9 yards a carry, and Hubbard averaged 4.8. That's their running game was just opening everything up. I feel like every first down was like 5-yard run, 6-yard run, 7-yard run, 8-yard run, and that's just demoralizing and backbreaking for the defense. And the Steelers defense just really struggled. I mean, everybody was going to this game was like, Steelers defense is back, they're good, and I was like, what are we watching? Are we watching the same team? Because the Steelers defense is not good. Ramsey's washed, T.J. Watt's aging, Hayward's still producing, but he's an aging veteran too. Porter had a good game, but other than that, they're not very good on defense at all. And Stroud just kept him in the game. Really, the Steelers in the game until the end of the end when Rodgers got absolutely killed and fumbled the ball, and then Rankins ran it back for like a 30-yard touchdown. But and then it was 17-6, and I was like, yeah, there's no way the Steelers are coming back from this. It's just their offense is too bad. And, Metcalf had a bunch of important drops. He's not really that good of a receiver. He's so overrated, in my opinion. He's not a number 1 receiver. Them trading a second-round pick for him was crazy. And it's crazy that Freiermuth only had 3 targets, I don't know. That's crazy. I mean, they need to produce. They need to give Freiermuth the ball more. But, yeah, and their running game really didn't do anything. They averaged only 3.6 yards a carry. Yeah. Rodgers just, in his last throw was like an interception. His rating was only 50.8. I mean, and I'm sick of seeing Rodgers yell at people. Like, dude, you're not playing good. You don't have the right to yell at people. I know you're a veteran. Everybody thinks you're a winner. You're a loser in the playoffs. Your playoff record's 500, and you only have 1 Super Bowl when it was like 2010, and the game was different. But he's a loser quarterback. Like, let's call a spade, guys. Everybody gets over their skis about Rodgers. He's a loser quarterback. He's not a good playoff quarterback. He's a loser. But yeah, and you saw today that Tomlin was stepping down. I mean, they fired him, and they're saying now Tomlin could be traded. I bet that's what happens. I bet, maybe there's been rumors before this week that he might go to TV. Maybe he goes to TV for a year like Sean Payton did, and then he wants to get traded because, Sean Payton didn't want to be a prick to the owner because he liked the owner, so he didn't want to just leave him high and dry. That's why Denver traded for him. But, the Texans just broke the Steelers this week. I mean, the Steelers shouldn't have been in the playoffs in the first place. If Tyrell Loop doesn't miss that kick, and Harbaugh's not an idiot trying to get closer to the field goal. But, yeah, it was time for Tomlin to go. They're like the Bruins of the NHL, where they make the playoffs every year and just lose in the first round, get killed in the first round, not even be close. It was time to step down. Tomlin's teams will never bottom out, but they don't win the playoffs. They don't do anything in the playoffs. They're just not good enough. And, but, yeah, I mean, it was his time to go. It's kind of like Harbaugh. The message grew stale. Being in the middle is kind of the worst because you don't have a bad you don't have a bad enough pick where you can get a quarterback, and you're not good enough obviously to be winning playoff games. So being in the middle is bad. I can see where the Steelers are firing him, but this whole like stepping down thing is just it's so fugazi. They clearly fired him. I mean, the Steelers, pride themselves on not firing coaches and stuff like that, but it's okay. Everybody gets fired, especially in the NFL. Everybody gets fired. Everybody. Bill Belichick got fired. Andy Reid's been fired. Jim Harbaugh's been fired. All these great coaches. Mike Vrabel has been fired. All these people has been fired. It's okay. It's okay. He said firing, but yeah. I mean, it was time for them to move on. I bet Rodgers has played his last game as a Steeler, which I'm happy to see. I can't stand him. But yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend. Everybody was worried about, not having Lamar in the playoffs, not having Mahomes in the playoffs, not having Burrow in the playoffs, all these guys in the playoffs, and great players, great quarterbacks in the playoffs. But it didn't matter. I thought the weekend was great. I thought it was really entertaining. Every game was good. Every game was fun, except the Houston Steelers game, of course. I mean, it was close until the end. But yeah, I'm looking forward to next weekend. We'll have another episode coming up soon about the previews for next week. Also, Indiana. I didn't talk about the Indiana-Oregon game. There's not much to talk about. Indiana was just the better team. I mean, it was 56-22, and it was 35-7 at halftime. The Oregon had no chance, none, zero. And Dan Lanning was just not coaching very good. I think going for it way too much. But and Dante Moore didn't have a good game at all. He should definitely come back for college, like I've been saying since day one. Please come back to college. Don't make the dumb decision. Go to the NFL. You're making money now. You don't need to go to the league to make money. Stay in college, develop. You need another year starting, and you'll be all right. You'll be a first-round pick, maybe the first pick next year. But I think it's just Kurt Cincinnati and Mendoza's year, which is you would never think to yourself, 2-3 years ago, Indiana is going to win a national championship one day or go to a national championship, and they're going to beat Oregon. They're going to kill Oregon. They're going to kill Alabama. And you said that to yourself a couple years ago. You'd have been like, "What? You crazy? What are you taking? Are you on drugs?" But yeah, I mean, it was a great turnaround. I love this Indiana team. I love Mendoza. I love Kirk Cincinnati a lot. He's like my favorite coach right now in sports. But yeah, that'll be an interesting playoff game, and we'll preview that next week too, or this week sometime. But yeah, it was a great weekend. It was a fun weekend. I'm looking forward to the next weekend, and I hope everybody enjoyed it as much as I did. It was fun. But yeah, thanks for tuning in to the episode. Like, share, subscribe to your friends. Can't grow this without you guys. I'm really relying on you guys, so I really appreciate it. But thank you guys. Everybody have a good one. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.